grass trimming going on. It could be... Let's have a quick look at that. Is that Lewis Goff or is it Fabricius? We'll find out in a few moments. Lucas Blanford will start on pole position with Addison Smith on the front row. On the outside, Lewis Goff and Jared Fox-Whiteley on row 2. Leon Barlow and Melissa Adrian on row 3. Ben Adrian and Oliver Fabricius row 4. Callum Foster and Ben Horner on row 5, with Isaac Parkinson and Harry Holland in front of Jack Burgess and Lizzie Mentier, who's been absent since the first heat of the morning. He's very unlikely to be out for this final. Through they come then, over start finish. Lights go out, we're away and racing as Addison Smith slots into second place behind Lucas Blanford, Lewis Goff and Jared Fox-Whiteley on the run up the hill towards the Spoon Corner in this 12-minute plus 1 lap final. Driver going wide there, that's the 12 of Ben Horner going slightly wide into the corner at the top of the hill. Managing to slot back in, so all of our runners took the green are still with us here then. Time at the top begins to elapse. 12 minutes plus 1 lap. It's going to be the best part of 17 laps then for this final here at GYG. Blanford leads from Smith with Goff, Fox-Whiteley. Callum Foster loses a couple of places on the opening lap down into 11th, so it's Fox-Whiteley in 4th. Barlow, Adrian, then Melissa Adrian, Ben Horner and Oliver Fabricius in front of Harry Holland and Callum Foster and Isaac Parkinson, your 12 runners, as we are missing Lizzie Mentier and what looks like Jack Burgess as well. Burgess didn't make it out in Heat 3, so it looks like he's had kart problems as well, unfortunately, so that's going to drop. Unfortunately for him, it means we're down to 12 runners. The leading trio have broken away though at the moment, with Addison Smith sticking with Lucas Blanford and Lewis Goff on the back as well, with Jared Fox-Whiteley not too far back, but we're not unable so far to stay with our leading trio. Goff pushing Smith along, and there's a move down the inside there from Addison Smith, and he's through into the lead, and Lewis Goff is through as well. So they used the slipstream on that run up the hill, and they are through into the lead. Addison Smith leading the way then from Lewis Goff, with Lucas Blanford now demoted down into 3rd place. And still 10 minutes in, 10 minutes remaining. There's Fox-Whiteley in 3rd place, in 4th place, trying to stick with now as they begin to battle at the head of the field. Addison Smith leading the way from Lewis Goff and Lucas Blanford. The run up the hill towards Spoon Corner sees Addison Smith still leading the way from Lewis Goff, and then Goff now tries to get down the inside of Smith. Smith runs all the way around the outside, slots back in, and that's going to allow Lucas Blanford to potentially come to the inside on Lewis Goff. Goff though parks the car and doesn't allow the 59 to come alongside. Will this battling allow Jared Fox-Whiteley, the championship leader, going into round 5 here at GYG, to close back up as the trio at the front battle it out for supremacy here in Minimax? Goff very quick round the final corner, closed up 2 or 3 kart lengths, and Addison Smith across the line with a 10th between them. When they came round the corner, it was around about 4 or 5 kart lengths, but Goff carries a huge amount of speed, and Lewis Goff goes down the inside on Addison Smith and moves through into the lead. And top 4 have got a big gap then back to Leon Barlow, who's come through into 5th place. Ben Adrian and Melissa 6th and 7th. Fabricius, Holland, Parkinson, the top 10 in front of Ben Horner and Callum Foster. As they come down the hill here at GYG. 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in a lap that is around about 43, 44 seconds at most. The leading trio still nose to tail, half a second between them. Not too far back is Jared Fox-Whiteley. He's got a gap of around 8/10 off the back of Lucas Blanford. And the rest of the field battle it out behind. Barlow and Ben Adrian have broken away ever so slightly from Melissa behind. She's got to stick with them because then They've got a gap of about 1.5 seconds back to Oliver Fabricius and Harry Holland, who's they're being kept honest by Isaac Parkinson, Ben Horner and Callum Foster. Goff with a gap now extended out to almost 0.4 of a second at the front of this pack, but that all you need there is a bit of slipstream, and the rest of the pack are going to be able to close right back up if they begin working together with each other. A quick look here. Let's have just having a quick look at one of the. We weren't sure whether we're getting reports of one of the side pods. On the side of the 15 of Addison Smith seems to be a bit of an angle, so that could have potentially had a bit of a whack at some point. Doesn't look like the bolts come off though, or it'd be dragging on the floor, and we'd probably be able to hear that and being picked up by the cameras if he was to come through, because you can hear when plastic is dragging along the ground at the best part of 65 miles an hour. You can hear it, I can assure you. And now Addison Smith seems to have closed up on the back of Lewis Goff once again. Goff had opened up a gap of around a cart length or two. He's closed in around the top of the track. Behind, though, Jared Fox-Whiteley has decided that the pace is much more to his liking. That cart quite clearly then set up for the second half of this race. You can do that in terms of tyre pressures. You play the waiting game, the long game. Wait for your tyres to come in towards the end of the race, and he's right in the slipstream here of Lucas Blanford as they head up the hill, and Blanford has to park that 59 car on the inside, in the tight part into that corner, and now Jared Fox-Whiteley will pop out of the slipstream, down the hill into the carousel, and the championship leader is through and up into third place. Goff continues to lead the way then from Addison Smith. Now, though, it's Jared Fox-Whiteley in third place. Blanford down into fourth. Then there's the best part of 4 seconds back to the rest of the field with Leon Barlow holding on for fifth. That'll be his best CKC result of the season, with Ben Adrian, Melissa Adrian, Oliver Fabricius, Harry Holland and Isaac Parkinson, the top 10. Down the hill they come. 5 minutes, so we are just beyond half race distance here, but we've got that one lap to add on. That's about 42 seconds, so we are there or thereabouts. Goff, Smith and Fox-Whiteley, 3 drivers that are very, very well acquainted to each other, racing at the same club meetings throughout the country, so they know each other very, very well. Goff leading from Fox-Whiteley. Blanford puts in a personal best of 43.727 for the driver of the 59 cart. Then there's that battle. You can see them in the background coming through with Barlow, Ben Adrian and Melissa Adrian all nose to tail. 5th down into 7th place. There they are at the top of the hill. Then behind we've got other intense battles going on with Fabricius and Holland. Then Horner and Parkinson battling it out between each other for their own respective battles. And then we've got Callum Foster as well, not too far off the back of Isaac Parkinson. Goff has opened up the gap to around about 0.4 of a second now. Jared Fox-Whiteley gets a good run round the first corner, and that run now up the hill on Addison Smith. Will he get to the inside into the spoon corner? He does, and through goes Jared Fox-Whiteley for second place on Addison Smith, the championship leader. Playing the long game then in this one, looked out of it by about 1 million miles in the opening few laps of this race. He was a second off the back of the leading trio of Goff, and that's down the inside. There goes Blanford on Addison Smith. That moves him up into third place. Smith down then into 4th place. He's going to try and stick with. So yeah, Fox-Whiteley looked out of this one, but now is up into 2nd place, right on the back, and trying to move away with Lewis Goff, who's led since getting past Lucas Blanford in the early phases of this race. Just under 3 minutes remaining now in this Minimax final as they head down the hill towards the carousel one more time. Goff and Fox-Whiteley with 2 kart lengths between them. Then they've got 5 or 6 back to Blanford, who's got Addison Smith for company in their battle for 3rd and 4th place respectively. Then there's a fairly big gap back to Leon Barlow, who is still holding off Ben Adrian and Melissa Adrian to cling on to 5th place. This is where Fox Whiteley got a good run on Addison Smith on the previous lap to close right up and make that move into the Spoon corner, which is where we are heading towards now. Round they go. Not close enough to make a move on Goff, but he is closing in on the driver of the number 4 kart. And that, for me, is what Lucas Blanford wants, because he wants them two to start battling. He's 3 kart lengths off the back, but he's only half an overtake off being close enough to put a move down the inside. He loves that corner for an overtake, so if he can close in on Jared Fox Whiteley in the remaining 2 minutes plus 1 lap, I'm sure that's where he's going to try the move into that tight left-hander at Compression Corner before the Devil's Elbow, and then the run down towards Paddock. 1.5 minutes remaining. They might get round in enough time to add 3, maybe even 4 more laps onto this Mini-Max final. We're already 14 in. We could go to 18 laps in this one, depending on times and how they come over the line. They head once again up the hill. Lewis Goff leading from Jared Fox Whiteley. Lucas Blanford much closer than what he was, and there he goes down the inside of Fox Whiteley. There's contact between the two of them, and then Fox Whiteley closing the door off. Holds on to 2nd place, and Lewis Goff, the lead, is out to 0.6 of a second. 52 seconds on the clock at the top. They're going to get round for 3 more laps. It's going to be an 18-lap final in this Mini-Max class. And Lewis Goff leads then from Jared Fox Whiteley, Lucas Blanford and Addison Smith. The leading quartet split by 1.2 seconds after 12 minutes of racing. They head down the hill. Goff will be through before the time at the top of the screen elapses, which means we're going to have 2 laps in order to sort this one out. 3 spaces on the podium, 4 drivers to take it. Somebody's going to miss out here. Who's it going to be as we head on to the penultimate lap? And Blanford makes a move down the inside of Jared Fox Whiteley. Has the door closed on him though by the 22, and Fox Whiteley then runs round the outside of the Spoon corner. They head down the hill, and Blanford is down the inside on Fox Whiteley. There's contact between the two of them, and Blanford is through on Jared Fox Whiteley as they make the move down into the Compression corner. There we are, that's Compression, that's the left. That's where we were going to expect a late dive down the inside, potentially on the final lap. The time has elapsed at the top of the screen, and Lewis Goff comes through. 0.8 of a second is his gap back to the rest of the pack. Blanford in 2nd place. Fox Whiteley in 3rd. Addison Smith in 4th place as they head up towards the Spoon corner for the final time. Then there's going to be that run down. Expect a defensive move to the inside. Goff leading the way then by almost a second from the rest of the pack as he heads up the hill. And Fox Whiteley is back through on Blanford. Fox Whiteley, who'd been demoted down into 3rd place, is back through on Lucas Blanford. Goff is through. He's going to come down the hill. Fox Whiteley holding on from Lucas Blanford into the final corner. Lewis Goff wins in Mini-Max. Fox Whiteley for 2nd, Blanford for 3rd, and Addison Smith in 4th place. Leon Barlow comes through for his best finish of the season in 5th place, with Ben Adrian and Melissa Adrian following him home, with Oliver Fabricius, Harry Holland and Ben Horner in front of Isaac Parkinson and Callum Foster.